Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, distinguished guests, wherever you are watching us from today, across Nigeria, around the world. I am absolutely delighted to welcome you to this special International Women's Day 2026 edition of our online show. It promises to be a powerful and insightful conversation with our guests. I am Comfort Eyitayo, your regular host for Connect with Comfort show. On this program, we aim to add value to people on business enterprise and personal growth. Each show is organized to feature special guests who are usually subject matter experts that helps us to throw insight into the topic of the day. I'm glad you're able to join us once again. I say welcome. Today, we join millions globally in celebrating the strength, resilience, brilliance, and boundless potential of women and girls everywhere in the world. International Women's Day, celebrated annually on March 8th, is recognized by the United Nations as a global movement to reflect, to advocate, and to act towards gender equality. And this year's powerful theme is rights, justice, action for all women and girls. We chose to adopt this United Nations one. The other one is to give to gain, for the United Nations theme for the year resonates more with what we are trying to project, and that is rights, justice, action for all women and girls. Not for some, not for a privileged few, but for all women and girls. So it's important for us to know that this is actually for all. Today, we are not just celebrating progress, we are examining responsibility. We are not just applauding achievements, we are asking, what must we do next? Because rights must be protected, justice must be pursued, and action must also be taken. This is not just women's issue, it is a human issue, it is an economic issue. Therefore, it is a leadership issue. It is also a generational issue. Let's put the theme of this year International Women's Day into context. When we talk about rights, we are talking about fundamental freedom, education, economic participation, safety, healthcare, leadership opportunities, and all. When we talk about justice, we are talking about fairness in the system, in the workplace, in governance, in access to opportunities, in how laws are implemented. And when we talk about action, we are talking about more than hashtags. We are talking about policies. We are talking about accountability. We are also talking about measurable change, from boardrooms to classrooms, from rural communities to global institutions, from corporate leadership to grassroots democracy, as well as advocacy. The call is very clear. We must move beyond intention to implementation. Rights delayed are rights denied. Justice postponed is also injustice prolonged. Action avoided is opportunity lost. Hence, during this conversation, we will explore three critical questions. One, what does right truly mean in today's context? What does justice look like in practical terms? And what concrete action must leaders, institutions, and individuals take? To help us unpack this and many more, I am honored to welcome our special guest for today's show right after this time out. Please remain connected. We'll be right back. Thank you.
I wanted to give up. I'm done with all the things I'm going through. I'm trying to keep my head up. I try to win, but every time I lose. Should be getting better. I try, but I don't know what to do. Hope this ain't forever. I just wanna make a breakthrough, but something inside said never give up. All of these setbacks are major setups. If I keep on fighting, if I keep on trying, if I aim for the sky, one day things will go my way. One day things will go my way. One day things will go my way. I've gotta hang in there, deep down.
Thank you very much. You're welcome back. And I think the video ties properly with what we are trying to do today. Our guest is already in the house, but before I bring her up, let me give a brief introduction of our special guest for today. I am delighted to welcome our special guest for today's show in the person of my revered past president, Chief Mrs. Elizabeth Adegite, MBA, FCA. She is an experienced public service leader, a former ICANN president, and renowned advocate for women in accountancy, management leadership, and corporate governance. And that is why she's the right person to come on the show today to speak to us on International Women's Day. Mrs. Elizabeth Adegite served as the 45th president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, ICANN, where she led various strategic initiatives to strengthen the accounting profession in the country. She also served as president of the Association of Accountancy Bodies in West Africa, ABWA, playing a pivotal role in fostering collaboration and accountability within organizations across the sub-region. Her work in those roles has been instrumental in advancing accounting standards and best practices across West Africa. As a pioneer advocate for women in the accountancy profession, Adegite is the initiator and founding member of the Society of Women Accountants of Nigeria, SWAN, in 1978 to promote gender equality, and empower women in the field of accountancy. She had held numerous leadership roles within SWAN, apart from being the initiator, secretary, chairperson, and grand patron. In addition to her professional achievements, Adegite has dedicated much of her time to community service. She is a devout Christian, mother, and grandmother. Chief Elizabeth Adegite's legacy is one of leadership, advocacy, and service. Her contribution to the development of the accountancy profession, both in Nigeria and international, alongside her dedication to empowering women, make her a trailblazer in her field. She is an author and recipient of several awards. She remains a highly respected figure, recognized for her integrity, expertise, and commitment to public service. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to introduce our special guest for today, a respected leader, advocate, and champion for women advancement. Ma, your work embodies the spirit of this year's theme, a reminder that equality is not a slogan, justice is not a theory, and action is not optional. We are truly honored to have you with us today. Thank you so much for joining us all the way from God's own country, the United States of America, for this important conversation. You are most welcome, man. Please join me in making welcome our special guest for today. We are very proud of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Comfort. I appreciate I'm delighted to be here. And I want to wish all the women out there, all over the globe, you know, happy International Women's Day. It's our day. It's a day of celebration. It's a day of reminding ourselves of the task ahead of us and what we need to do.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for that warm felicitation. So we go straight into the interview segment by asking, for instance, we begin from the first pillar for this year's theme, which is rights. In your view, ma, what are the most critical rights that women and girls are still fighting for, even in this present age, 2026, particularly in developing economies like ours?
Well, I think these are very obvious questions, but I'll go straight to the answer. Rights that ensure that women and girls can live free from discrimination and have the same chances as men in all aspects of life, from personal to the public sphere. In this regard, three things or four things come out very critically in the year 2026. One, the right to education. Two, the right to live from violence and discrimination. Three, the right to enjoy the highest attainable standard of physical and mental health. So health is very, very important. Also, you can't do anything without money. And so the issue, the right to access to finance and opportunities to have the right job, opportunities to vote, opportunities to have legal treatment, opportunities to own properties, opportunities to have equal job opportunities, and of course, political participation. All these rights that have been enumerated above stem from the core principle that women's rights are human rights. Thank you.
Thank you very much. for that detailed response. I appreciate that very much. And I'm sure many of our women will be nodding. But with that said, man, we can also testify that some of these things are covered in our law. What gaps do you see between laws on paper and realities on the ground?
Well, like everything in life, policies are made. Implementation becomes an issue. And effective implementation is a major issue. So I will say that lack of determination and commitment could be responsible for some of this. Also, faulty implementation and inadequate and effective management consequences. It's one thing to draw the policy. It's one thing to write it down. Who is monitoring? Are the data being collected? What are we doing about non-performance, i.e. non-implementation? These are all issues that we need to be looking at and find solutions to. Thank you.
Very interesting and very challenging for all of us to make sure we take note and push this to the extent that we will get this right. Thank you very much, man. Now we've dealt with the first pillar. The second pillar look at justice. Justice implies fairness in systems and structures, in workplaces, in political participation, in entrepreneurship. Because in your response earlier, you said the right to vote, and I dare say to be voted for. So where do you believe justice is still most urgently needed?
Well, there are some barriers. I think when looking at justice, we have to look at it from the point of view systematic, so that as far as the system is concerned, financial, procedural, and social obstacles. These are all issues that we need to look at, and particularly as vulnerable and low-income population groups, mainly women, we must look at how to assess what remedies to put in place to assert our rights and to navigate the legal system effectively. How do we navigate the legal system? We have seen in some countries, for example, and recently I think in Nigeria, issues where it affected women. Women were sent out under suspension or one thing or the other, or they have one issue. And you know what happened? Eventually you go to court. Yes, you are dragged to court. We were not dragged to court. But when you even get to court, do you get justice? That's where we are supposed to have justice. If we are not getting justice, what are we going to do about not getting the justice that we desire, that we so need? So I think these are some of the issues that we are looking at. And the major barriers could be for women, whether believe it or not, is still high cost. High cost of getting legal redress, complex legal jargons, and lack of representations and bias. And these bias could be they're institutional, sometimes cultural, and they come in different forms. So I think these are the issues that we need to deal with, and we must find solutions to them. And the kind of solutions as we go to the issues of what should we be doing, what organizations do. These are the things that once we have identified them, we then have to find solution, even if it's only two. How do we handle the issue of not having enough money to pursue your case? How do we have, yes, legal aid is there, but how far can it go? So these are some of the issues that we have confronting women in 2026 as it relates to getting justice.
Thank you very much. Correctly stated, because some of these things, they talk of affirmative this, affirmative that. So how can institution move from performative inclusion to genuine equity? Because you have rightly said, if you don't have a means of pushing your rights, justice will evade you. So how do we make this possible? Move away from performative inclusion to genuine equity or equality, whichever one.
Yeah, I think the first thing we need to do is raising awareness. We must be convinced ourselves, and along with all our partners, that we demonstrate unwavering commitment to these issues. We must jettison tokenism, gestures, oh, put a few women here and there, and that will silence them. No, that's not enough. It's not enough. We must enforce the policies and ensure compliance. And as has been said earlier on, the issue of accountability and consequence management is very, very vital. So these are the issues that we need to look at. Tokenism, yes, it's good, it's not good enough. That's what we're saying. Enforcing, having the policies, good, we must ensure compliance. We must ensure accountability. Anyone who has been put in position of leadership, male or female, must be held accountable. You have responsibilities. You must be aware. You must be sensitized. You must have the desire to push forward, to make these programs a reality. And that is where the total unwavering commitment comes in, both from the point of view of policymakers, leaders, women themselves, organizations, institutions, every one of us. We must make sure that we put our hands in order, and all hands must be on deck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well said. I hope those in charge of the policy makers are listening. Now, we go quickly to the third pillar, and perhaps the most urgent in relation to what we have said so far: how to push our rights, how to get justice, the need for implementation of all those laws that are already out there. So the third pillar is action, to take action, and we consider it urgent. We've had decades of conferences, policies, declarations, yet progress remains uneven. What does meaningful action look like today at the level of government, corporate leadership, faith-based institutions, and families?
Thank you. That's well loaded. Action, that is where we're in. That's the real issue. That's what we are here to discuss. What actions must we take? Well, I think that we'll start off by looking at examining ourselves and say, look, as a woman, how much have I done? What can I do better? What should I be doing that I'm not doing? So those are things that we need to ask ourselves. Are we doing enough? What else can we do? So in terms of action, government, yes, government sets the policy. We believe that as government, for policy formulation is on them. Communal ownership and championship. What communities, every community we belong to, whether it's a house fellowship, whether it's a society, whether it's a church, we have responsibility to drive home this fact that to get better results, we need to do more. However, I must say that we have gone a long way. We might not have got to where we want to get to. This is equality, because equality means that if we look at we'll go back to the whole creation. When God created the world, he came to a point. He said, everything that I've done is very good. And then he said, oh, I need to complete something. And that completion is womanhood. And so society must accept, the church must accept, families must accept, organizations must accept that women play an important role in development. There's no way you want to get the result that is anticipated by the creator himself without bringing women into the fold. So this issue is so important for government and at all levels, that we raise the level of awareness and also reduce bias. We must reduce bias. There's so much bias, norms, societal norms, cultural inhibitions, all of these things make it difficult for us to accomplish the goals that we have. But with determination, we will achieve, and we must set targets and record the targets. What are we, if we set targets 33%, where are we in year 2024? Where are we in 2025? What is the incremental steps are we taking? And what do we ensure that must be in place in 2026 so that we can get this affirmative action? Yes, it's good on paper. Who is measuring? So it is important that we monitor and to be able to achieve the desired goal. And like I said earlier, all hands must be on deck. Government, corporate leadership, faith-based institutions, and families, all of us together, we will accomplish this task. But in the main, if we look at the issue of corporate leadership, what I believe is that we must be intentional, we must be strategic, and we must be decisive to promote women in leadership positions and protect women in the work and marketplace. These things are very, very important. And also to be able to drive sustainable progress in the public interest. As it relates to faith, well, I think the most important thing that came to my mind in reflecting on this question was we must walk the talk. We must walk the talk. It's not enough to say. We should be able to see it in our action that we believe in what we say we'll do. So I believe that the churches and the mosque, and they are doing something, but they could do more. There's a lot more they can do. And the way they can do this is by sensitizing and making the men aware of this, making the women aware, the children, the family, everyone together. Let's put hands together and get the results that we desire. Thank you. Regarding families, we need to take action in this area against oppressive culture, norms, and practices. We must be aware and try to reduce biases and equal treatment of girls and boys. I grew up in a family. The first two in the family were girls, and we lived in a home where it didn't matter whether you were a boy or a girl. You did what you needed to do. And it is this same thing that I imbibed and I practiced in my own home when I became a mother, became a wife and a mother, you know. So wherever we are in life, be it male or female, we have a responsibility to ensure that women's rights means equal right for both boys and girls, men and women alike. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That will even go a long way for generations, because once that idea is inculcated right from the beginning, then when they go and own their own home, they practice the same. That is very, very good. So we know that the research has shown consistently that diverse leadership strengthens organization. What practical steps can organizations take to prepare more women and girls for leadership pipeline?
Yeah, this is, we say we start from the home. So building the right attitude is very, very important, the attitude. And then to prepare the girls for leadership and the women also is to foster independence, confidence in themselves, you know, build resilience, you know, and ensure that at a very early age, they are exposed to decision making, mentorship, and skill building. These things are very, very important. You know, they have to understand that women and girls must understand that they have a role to play. We have to be visible. Visibility is important, but you can't just go there because, oh, I'm a woman that should be seen. No, you must know your onion. You must be diligent. You must have the skills. You must have integrity, you know, and you must be hardworking. These are all qualities that are required so that we can succeed in this march towards equality. Also, key actions include encouraging risk-taking. Women don't like to take risks. Yes, we are nurturers. We're not sure we want to keep the home or one. But yeah, sometimes you have to stretch your neck out there. Make sure that you are seen. Make sure you are recognized. Provide platforms for to voice opinions. Yes, you must have a voice. What do you think about this situation? You ask your children, the girls in the home. Don't just leave them and let them just be doing chores and things. Help them with their thought process also. So these are all important. These are creating, like I said earlier, diverse mentorship opportunities and promoting emotional intelligence, networking, and strategic thinking. All of this will help women move to the position of leadership in the society.
Thank you very much. This conversation, as we know, cannot exclude men. What role must men play, not as spectators, but as allies in advancing rights and justice for women?
Very interesting. Without the men, there will be no women. Without the women, there will be no men. So we must move hand in hand. Men should move from spectators to active allies in advancing women's rights by leveraging their privileges to dismantle systemic barriers, amplify women's voices, and challenges that face them in terms of sexism. Key actions will include intervening in biased situations, mentoring women, advocating in the workplace for equity, and educating themselves on gender disparity. Not just only themselves, but even their children. Is very important, and everywhere they find. So in essence, what I'm saying is that men must encourage and promote inclusion of women in their sphere of influence as parents, entrepreneurs, employers, policymakers, politicians, etc.
Thank you very much.
May
Let's
I
look
take this
at
opportunity to salute every man, institution, and ally who have championed equity and inclusiveness, creating equal opportunities and a level playing ground for women to lead, influence, take decisions, and also drive sustainable progress in the public interest. We say a big thank you to all these men. We appreciate you all.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thanks for your support. Our men, we pray that you give us more support. We want collaboration, not competition. And I hope you make the space for us to aspire more. Okay, if we have a young girl listening to this conversation, man, what would you want to tell this person? Maybe she's ambitious but uncertain about her future. What would you want to say to her?
For every young girl that is out there, the message is very clear. You are wonderfully made by the Almighty God, and you have a purpose, and He has a purpose for you. So you have to live a purposeful life. To ensure that you live a purposeful life, you must imbibe certain values, such as integrity, hard work, service, an excellent spirit, diligence, and then you must have a vision. Where are you going? They said people perish for lack of vision. You must know where you are going. And you need help to accomplish this. This is where STEM is very important. I think it's very important. One of the things to help young ladies these days is that this initiative to look into science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. These are all very important. It helps you to think logically. It helps you to, and then you also, as young girls, you must also look up to people. You have role models. Look at people that you admire in society, where they are, and then follow. Begin to try to mirror them. You build up confidence, be intentional, prioritize your mental and physical health, because it's very important. You must be healthy. You must live very healthy life. As you grow older, you set boundaries without necessarily building walls around yourself. Cultivate deep, healthy connections. And above all, have faith in God.
Very important.
youngest.
Very important. We have a contribution from our online audience, which is more or less in line with this question you just answered. And it goes thus: how can we ensure that young girls grow up in environments where their voices are heard, their rights respected, and their potential fully developed? I think this is more of family. So, what do you say to this, man?
I think all of the things that I have said earlier on apply.
Well,
The
yes.
child is growing up in the home. You build her confidence level at home. You make her understand that she's an important creation and she has a role to play in society. And you help her develop. As she develops and she goes along, you teach her what it means to have a mentor. You tell her what the diligence means, integrity. There's so much morality is so low at this point in time in our society, which is unfortunate. But these are all the things that you need to, both as parents, as teachers, as employees, to be able to imbibe and encourage and cultivate both in the home and all spheres of life, every area where this 15-year-old child interacts. We have a responsibility to help them grow and grow in the right direction.
Thank you very much. These are quick answer questions. Like, what is the what is one barrier you believe women in your community still face?
Hmm.
One one barrier
Two,
they
two.
still
In
face.
fact, I can't say it's one. So you ask for one, but I'll give you two. One, a voice. The second one,
Okay.
finance. So those are the two major ones. They inhibit, you have a voice. If you have a platform, then you can talk. Look, I have this platform. You referred to me in the introduction about SWAN and all of that, and the Society of Women Accountants and the role we play in accounting. And because we have a platform, we have a voice. We said, look, we're not going to just sit down there and not be heard. We have something to offer. And so we bring it forth. And then the men recognize it and they give you the space. So it's very, very important. The voice is very important. And two, support, both moral as well as financial. You can't do it all. You need to help people, you help one another. And this is where we say that a woman who is successful has a responsibility to bring up the next one, help others and lift them up so that they too also will understand and appreciate the success story. And it goes round. Thank you.
Very, very true, very true. And that applies to the other thing that maybe from UK aspect embrace for this year International Women's Day to give to gain. So we as women must also be ready and willing to help each other. We must give for us to gain as women folk. So it's important for us to also lend a helping hand to others. And thank you, Pastor Adebayo, who has promised to support us, not compete, but support us. Thank you very much. Now, what is one action your organization can implement this year that you feel will help in line with this conversation?
Well, when you talk about organization, we work in different organizations and spheres. But I will first of all go on to SWAN and say that even in last year, December, one of the things that we tried to do was to say that, look, we have to break barriers. That's what it's all about. Breaking barriers. How effectively have we broken the barriers? And what else can we do? And so we did this book mirroring some women, who have achieved and told their success story so that the younger ones can be inspired. They can be encouraged that if A could do it, I too can do it. So that's one of the things that we want to do by example. Be that role model, be that example that others can see and also want to move forward and to be successful in whatever sphere they are achieving or they desire to find themselves in future. So women and children need to be successful or success oriented. You need that orientation, the orientation that says, I want to achieve, I want to contribute, I want to be part of this. Look, if Nigeria must move forward, if the world must move forward, I want to be part of it. And we as women would like to work towards peace in the world. You can see that there's so much turbulence. And that is one of the reasons why we need to be there around the table to ensure that these things, that we don't run into it and allow the men to just, create an atmosphere where we feel very unsafe. We want to enjoy this life. Now God has given us life to enjoy, and we want to enjoy, and we want to do it in peace. So we have a role to play to bring about world peace, even as women.
Okay, thank you very much. So, can you tell us uh, somebody that inspire you, that you can say, okay, this person has influenced my life one way or the other?
There are a lot of people who have influenced my life. But talking about women, I think the first natural place to come home to is my mom. She influenced me. She believed in education as the passport and the whole thing. So she gave all confidence that look, we can become anything that we desire to become in life. So that's the number one point from the home. Of course, you said I'm looking at women. Of course, my dad, of course, plays a crucial role in my education and upbringing. And like I said, whether we were male or female, it didn't really matter in our home. And then as I grew up, my auntie, she was a woman, dogged woman who would take no nonsense. So I admired her, and I also learned something from her. That was my dad's immediate senior sister. I stayed with her for a few years. Of course, in the professional field, there were many people, my bosses, but more importantly, in the field of accounting, there were two outstanding women. The first female chartered accountant in Nigeria and actually in Africa, Mrs. Toyin Olakuri of blessed memory, as well as Her Royal Highness, Dr. Mrs. Bola Kuforiji Olubi, who was the first female president of the Institute of Chartered Accountants, alongside others, because sometimes you look at those on the top, there are those who are on your side too. They are influencing you, and those even behind you. So altogether, they are great influencers.
Thank you very much. Time is always not on our side. We wish to go on and on. But before we let you go, ma, would you give us a parting shot for audience on this special day, especially relating to the theme that we have chosen?
My emphasis will be the need for absolute commitment to the empowerment of women to enhance national development and ensure true democracy and enthrone peace. And I mean commitment by all parties, women, children, men, policymakers, politicians, leaders in all sphere of life. These people who lead us must lead us right. Lead us right. Do not lead us and bring our nation down or bring the society. Don't allow the place to collapse under your leadership. You have a responsibility to ensure that we move on, we advance, and that women advance along with this, and that women take their rightful place. And I believe God that the journey that we started many, many years, hundreds of years ago, we went to Beijing, we went everywhere, we will complete it, and we will be standing side by side with the men as equal partners. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have a contribution from Dr. Hussein that goes thus: women are key to human progress, prosperity, and peace. We must therefore invest in the girl, child, and empower her to excel. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you very much, Dr.
We appreciate
Hussein.
you. Thank you very much.
We appreciate you. Thank you so much. So, before we round up, ma, and appreciate you, I would like you to know those who joined us, at least those that I was able to pick their name. Nike Arifalo joined us from Lagos. Hilda Ozo also joined us. Taiwo Ojo joined us from Abuja. Then Pastor Peter Adebayo also joined us. He is the one. He also made contribution that he will support us. We count on your support. Konyisola Taiwo also joined us. Then Bayo Debanjo, we thank you also for supporting us. He also made contribution. And then Dr. Ebera saying join us from London. He's streaming
Wow.
from London right now. Then we had Tosho Adeyemo. Those are the people I was able to pick their name. We appreciate you all, especially our male counterpart that joined us. We believe in this cause and you are celebrating also. We thank you very much for being there. Permit me, you will agree with me that our special guest for today, our mother, our revered past president, has done us very proud and has given us a lot of insight on this theme for the International Women's Day for 2026. I want to especially appreciate you, Ma. We feel highly honored. We appreciate you. We are proud of you for the work you are doing. And like you said, a voice has been given to female chartered accountants in Nigeria through your initiative, being initiator of SWAN. And this is waxing strong. It's all over the states of the Federation and even in the diaspora. So we want to appreciate you for the great insight you have helped us to share into this topic and make us more enlightened, and then perhaps send information to the policymakers, the areas that they still have to touch on to make sure that we have this rights, justice, and then them taking the action at the right time. Thank you very much. I will just quickly do a brief wrap up as time is fast spent before we round up the program. So I want to leave us with practical commitments, like special guests have told us. Let us see how individually we can mentor one young girl, advocate for one policy reform that will better the loss of women, review one workplace policy, those of you that are in such a position or you can influence such policy if you are not in the position to take that policy. Support one women-led business so that they can grow, and speak up once where silence previously prevailed. All this will help to achieve what we have talked about, to achieve rights for the women. Rights require guidance, justice requires courage, action requires commitment. This we have also been told by our past president, that you need to be courageous, you need to be intentional to achieve all this. So let this International Women's Day not end as a celebration, but begin as a movement within us. As we conclude this special International Women's Day 2026 conversation, we should remember progress is not accidental, equality is not automatic, justice is not self-executing. It demands intentional leadership from us all. It demands collective responsibility from everyone. It demands action. To every woman watching, your voice matters. To every girl watching, your dreams are valid. To every leader watching, your decisions would help us to shape the future. On behalf of our entire team, I say happy International Women's Day of 2026 to us all. May we move from awareness to accountability, from dialogue to decisions, from celebration to sustained action. I want to thank our special guest once again, our dear past president and mother, initiator of SWAN, and all our audience, online audience, those who joined us and those who will eventually watch this over again on the YouTube. We thank you. We thank everyone being part of this conversation, because it truly matters to us as women. If you have found this evening's discussion interesting, please share with a friend or your neighbor, and let us make this conversation go round for us to be able to add value to women. Our next topic will be on leadership beyond titles, how everyday Nigeria can lead through influence and integrity. And we have a man of great leadership qualities to help us do justice to this topic. It promises to be impactful. Once again, I'd like to thank all of you for committing time to this show and for your contribution. Thank you very much. Please remember to subscribe to my YouTube channel, Comfort Eyitayo. Once you have subscribed, remember to turn off the notification button, like and share our videos. Stay updated with information about upcoming events, solutions, and